Hey everyone, and welcome back to Anytime Español.
If I were to say to you, 2 cookies remain in the cookie jar, which of these two are correct?
Quedan dos galletas en el frasco or se quedan dos galletas en el frasco. In this case, quedan would be correct because quedar means to remain, whereas quedarse means to stay.
And these small changes using reflexive pronouns can be confusing for learners because quedar and quedarse look almost exactly the same, but their meaning is different. So that's why today we're going to clear up the confusion and go over 4 of these very important verb pairs.
Ir and irse, quedar and quedarse, dormir and dormirse, and pasar and pasarse.
And by the end of this lesson, you'll understand the difference between each of these verb pairs so that you can start using them correctly today and improve your Spanish.
But before we get started, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you still haven't.
And we're always looking for new members to join our community and receive exclusive bonus Spanish content and benefits. You can also find the link to our website as well as Buy Me a Coffee, where you can donate directly to the channel if you'd like to support our work.
So our first one is ir versus irse.
Now, these two verbs are actually opposites. When we think of ir, we usually think about moving toward a place or moving towards a destination.
Irse, on the other hand, is used when someone leaves a place or goes away from somewhere.
So adding that reflexive pronoun changes the focus of the verb. Let's look at these two examples. I'm going to the store versus I'm leaving the store. When we go to the store, we use ir.
Voy a la tienda.
But if we talk about leaving a place, like leaving the store, we use irse.
Me voy de la tienda.
Now, notice the prepositions here as well in these two sentences. When we use ir, we're going to use the preposition a because we go towards a place. We're moving towards a destination. So it's going to be voy a la tienda. But when we use irse, we're leaving a place. We're going from somewhere. So it's going to be used with the preposition de. So it's going to be me voy de la tienda. So let's see another example. How would it be if we were to say, we're going to the party?
Vamos a la fiesta.
Whereas if we said, we're leaving the party.
Nos vamos de la fiesta.
So that difference is always going to be very clear. Ir is going to be used when you're going towards a destination or going to a place, and irse when you're leaving or going away from that place. Let's see one last example. What if I were to say, she goes to work at 8?
Ella va al trabajo a las 8.
As opposed to, she leaves work at 8.
Ella se va del trabajo a las 8. Number 2, quedar versus quedarse. These two verbs are closely related, but they express different ideas.
Quedar is often used to describe something that remains or something that was left. Quedarse, on the other hand, is used when someone stays somewhere. And that makes sense because the reflexive version is basically saying it remains to itself, which would be translated as stays. So let's see a couple of examples. Let's go back to our first example where I said 2 cookies remain in the cookie jar.
Quedan dos galletas en el frasco.
So here we want to use quedar because we're talking about 2 cookies remain or 2 cookies are still left in the cookie jar. But now what if I were to say, I'm staying at home tonight?
Me quedo en casa esta noche.
So here we want to use quedarse because we're talking about staying in a place. Let's see another example. Only 3 tickets remain.
Solo quedan 3 boletos.
We're staying at the hotel for 3 weeks.
Nos quedamos en el hotel por 3 semanas.
Little time remains.
Queda poco tiempo.
Will he stay for the entire competition?
¿Él se va a quedar por toda la competencia?
So these two aren't too difficult to distinguish. Quedar means to remain or to be left over, whereas quedarse means to stay in a place. The reality is that quedar and quedarse are 2 of those verbs that are actually used in many expressions and have many uses. For that reason, we've actually made a video on quedar and quedarse, and you can check it out here, and we'll also leave the link in the description of this video. Okay, now number 3 is dormir versus dormirse. Now, both of these verbs are related to sleep, but they express different moments. Dormir means to sleep in general. It's kind of the state or the activity of sleeping. Dormirse, however, refers to the moment in which you fall asleep.
So the reflexive form emphasizes the transition from being awake to becoming asleep.
Okay, so let's look at this example to see what we mean here. If I were to say, I sleep 8 hours, it would be
Duermo 8 horas.
So here we see that dormir is describing a general habit, the state or the activity of sleeping. But now if I were to say, I fell asleep during the movie.
Me dormí durante la película.
Here we need to use dormirse because we're describing the moment in which sleep begins. Let's see another one. The baby sleeps a lot.
El bebé duerme mucho.
Versus the baby fell asleep quickly.
El bebé se durmió rápidamente.
Albert sleeps very well after running.
Alberto duerme muy bien después de correr.
Albert fell asleep on the couch.
Alberto se durmió en el sofá.
So that's it. Remember that dormir is the state or the activity in general of sleeping, whereas dormirse talks about the moment in which you fell asleep. Now, just for a little bit of fun, if anyone knows how to also say to fall asleep using the verb quedar, comment below.
And if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a like.
And don't forget that if you'd like to become a member, click on the join button on our homepage, sign up, and receive exclusive Spanish content and extra benefits.
Number 4, pasar versus pasarse.
Pasar is often used to talk about something happening or something passing. Could be an object or something like time.
Pasarse, however, usually means going too far or overdoing something.
So you see, when we add that reflexive pronoun, we actually go from something just happening to someone exceeding a limit. For example, if we were to say, what happened yesterday, it would be,
¿Qué pasó ayer?
You can see we're simply talking about something happening. But now if we were to say, you went too far with that comment.
Te pasaste con ese comentario.
Here we can clearly see that we're using pasarse to mean that someone went too far or crossed a line. Let's see another example. The afternoon passed quickly.
La tarde pasó rápido.
We drank too much last night.
Nos pasamos tomando anoche.
So you can see in the first example, we're just using pasar to talk about the afternoon passed, time passed. Whereas in the second example, we're using pasarse to be exceeding a limit or crossing a line. We drank too much. Let's see another one. The tennis player passes the ball.
El tenista pasa la pelota.
Because we didn't measure the amount, we added too much salt.
Por no medir la cantidad, nos pasamos de sal.
All right, now let's have a little quiz to make sure you got this all down. So I'm going to say a short, simple sentence in English, and you'll have 3 options, and you'll try to guess before Darcy gives you the right answer. You ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Number 1, we're leaving the restaurant.
Is the right answer A. Vamos del restaurante. B. Nos vamos del restaurante. Or C. Nos vamos al restaurante. B. Nos vamos del restaurante.
So remember, when we talk about leaving a place, we're going to use irse. So we've got nos vamos, and then we usually use the preposition de when we talk about going from a place. Nos vamos del restaurante. Number 2, only 2 slices of pizza remain.
Would it be A. Quedan 2 pedazos de pizza. B. Se quedan 2 pedazos de pizza. Or C. Quédense 2 pedazos de pizza. A. Quedan 2 pedazos de pizza.
So remember, here we're saying how many remain, and when we talk about something that remains or is left, we use quedar. Number 3, I fell asleep during the class.
Would it be A. Me durmió durante la clase. B. Dormí durante la clase. Or C. Me dormí durante la clase. C. Me dormí durante la clase.
So me dormí is correct because remember we talk about the moment in which you fall asleep where you need to use dormirse. Number 4, I ate too much.
Is the right answer A. Pasé comiendo. B. Me pasé comiendo. C. Me pasó comiendo. B. Me pasé comiendo.
So here we need me pasé because we need pasarse because that's the one that means to cross the line or to exceed a limit. And number 5, Sophia spends time with her boyfriend.
Is the right answer A. Sofía se pasa tiempo con su novio. B. Sofía pasó tiempo con su novio. Or C. Sofía pasa tiempo con su novio. C. Sofía pasa tiempo con su novio.
So remember, when we use pasar by itself, we can talk about spending or passing time. So we have Sofía pasa tiempo. So, how'd you do? Let us know in the comments and also drop a comment using one of your favorite verb pairs from this video to practice your Spanish.
Now, watch this video to keep improving your Spanish.
Until next time.